Mental flashbang!
That was nice and consistent.
Thank you.
All right.
Strong.
About 1 year ago, I made a video titled Bookstagram should be neutered, and I thought that would be the end of that. The BookTok biosphere was in decline, but I was wrong. Bookstagram needs to be neutered more than ever, so today we're revisiting it.
There is a reason that I should be getting this unhinged over a man who is stalking this poor, innocent, unassuming girl.
For the uninitiated, what is Bookstagram and BookTok? They're the book communities of TikTok and Instagram respectively, but instead of reading anything remotely normal, all they read is smut. And in many cases, the smut they read is known as dark romance, which is extremely taboo in every way possible and usually lacking consent. So today, we're gonna do a demographic deep dive into the Bookstagram ecosystem. So we're gonna dive into the insane authors of this community, the Bookstagram community at large and their problems with addiction and cyber harassment, and the thirst trappy dudes who pander to them.
You are leaking. Stop that.
Me to my faucet. By the way, that last group is so unabashedly cringy that it caused me to create a YouTube channel to make fun of them. None of you really know me except for that person who saw me at Walmart that one time. But like, I'm not a very extroverted person, especially at the time I was pretty like socially neurotic. So for me to start a YouTube channel just to make fun of BookTok guys, that should say something about him, because that is wildly out of character for me. So yeah, thank you BookTok boys, appreciate that. Anyways, let's get it. So Bookstagram is a place for all sorts of authors from all walks of life to promote the fruits of their labor that are totally not copy-paste hockey Omegaverse group romance novels.
Huh?
Yeah, that's right. I said copy-paste. There's multiple of these. And that's right, the future is now, old man. The Omegaverse is not just a fanfic trope anymore. It's being published. There is a climate crisis and we are killing trees to make books like this. When you're an Omega who has destroyed every net. Oh yeah, right. We're 1 minute in again and we have to discuss the Omegaverse. Let's get it though. I'm excited this time because y'all taught me a lot in the comment sections of last video. What's good, everyone? It's me again, the Omegaverse aficionado. Actually, no. We all love the Omegaverse. Yes, that includes you. No, I'm not speaking French. Let's do a recap for the uninitiated. Basically, the Omegaverse is a genre of speculative fiction that originated on fanfiction websites. Essentially, the whole point is that people act like wolves and even adopt some physical traits of wolves, such as going into heat and responding to pheromones, and they even have to take heat suppressants. I'm not going to elaborate on the rest. People in this universe are born into one of three classifications. The first are alphas, who are your stereotypically dominant testosterone people. Betas are regular people. And omegas are submissive and they can get pregnant, no matter the gender. In fact, any gender can be born into any one of these categories. In fact, the whole point of the Omegaverse is to explore the idea of men getting pregnant and the idea of a secondary gender within gay relationships. And it's mainly a fanfiction trope, but as you can see, it's starting to actually get published. There's actually a bit of beef between the fanfiction community and the published community. There's a little smut war going on, okay? The fanfiction community tends to see published Omegaverse kind of like white people dreads, where it's like, it's technically the Omegaverse, but like, is it really though? So yeah, your homework is to guess why that is before you see me again pretty soon. Back to the video. When you're an Omega who has destroyed every nest. Oh boy, I hear my roommate outside. Until your heat hits at a matching ball. Then a feral alpha, your scent match, builds you a new nest. And for the first time, you feel safe to let out your inner Omega. Yeah, so a feral alpha is essentially someone who's kind of like let their alpha instincts take control of themselves. So basically, he's absolutely tweaking out. How is this romantic, dude? This is an ad for a romance book. This is supposed to sound appealing. But what this really is both main characters zooted off those beta bath salts, making a nest in the middle of a public space. What? And that's something I really love about Bookstagram posts in general. These authors try so damn hard to make their books sound appealing, but they either come off as extremely unrealistic and romanticized to the point of parody because BookTok readers have no standard for their smut, or it's just the most actively unromantic thing you've ever read. Like, what the hell is this supposed to mean? Is this like Kool-Aid Man ex-reader romance? What the hell?
Bro, that was so good, bro. You're like the funniest. You make the best videos ever, bro.
Appreciate that, man. I always love to see a
man.
fan, man. Appreciate that. I'm really scared right now. I don't know who that was, how he got my address, how he got him at. I should go check my doors are locked. Like, I just... Do you know how that was, bro? Like, okay, I mean... Has this ever happened to you? Well, it could. But today's sponsor, Aura, can help you fight back. Right now, online data brokers are gathering, selling, and making your information public online, including your address, emails, relatives, jobs, and more. And they don't even check who they're selling that information to. And I don't know about you, but that bothers me a lot, especially because I recently got my Spotify hacked, and I literally found out because this dude started liking songs and making playlists. Like, good job, buddy, you sold. I spent a lot of time talking about scams and unethical business practices on this channel, and I feel like data brokers are probably up there with the worst. They compile all the data they can find about you online, and then buy it from other services you use to create like a unified profile that they can then sell to malicious actors and advertisers. Ever wonder why you get so many scam calls? It's because someone bought your phone number from somebody else. Now that sounds bleak, but not all hope is lost, because Aura can help you fight back against this, and get your information off the web. Aura is an all-in-one cybersecurity platform that searches the web for your information, such as your bank account and phone number, then does the hard part for you, getting these data brokers to get rid of it. Aura will alert you if any of this data is found, scrub that data, and then give you a monthly report about what they did. And what's nice about Aura is that it's not just protection. Compared to similar services, it offers way more, such as a VPN, antivirus, credit monitoring, and a 60-day money-back guarantee if you're not satisfied. They have round-the-clock support and $5 million of identity theft insurance in case something actually does go wrong. If you want to be more proactive with your online security, you can get a 14-day free trial for Aura at this link, aura.com/royalyoung. Because you wouldn't expect it by the fact that I'm super open to this channel and I have basically no shame left. I am pretty serious about cybersecurity, and I think you should be too. Now, back to the video. Yeah, so like I was saying, these authors try so hard to write like romantic scenarios, but they only ever come off as completely unhinged. Because I'm assuming these books have severely shifted their romantic standards. She's worried the lawyer doesn't like her and that he's out of her league. She doesn't know he's been lurking in her house and growling into her used towels. like, who does this appeal to, man? Like, why would he be doing that? Like, what would he gain from growling into a I don't get it, man. Stupid. Like, who is attracted to the idea of dudes growling? That's just so immensely forced and corny. Like, that's not something humans do.
Mine.
And I think the appeal is like, these dudes are like animalistic and can't control their urges, but like, nobody instinctively growls. I'm sorry, that's horse girl behavior from kindergarten, okay? Yet it's such a common trope in BookTok literature. Anyways, this book came from an Omegaverse author named Liliana Carlisle. Let's look at some more of her books. She rescues a kitten, but her neighbor calls it ugly and threatens it. Her stalker blasts the neighbor with a shotgun and becomes a cat dad. On my roommate's life, this is peak literature. Aw, come on, man. That's the guy who does my outro music, man. Maybe he's got something cooking up right here. Maybe we could use this for this video. Man, I think I did the world a service, man. I think he had to go, bro. I don't know what this is. And seriously, how do these people think humans work? Or like, have you had a human interaction? How would he become her cat dad after blasting her neighbor with a shotgun? Like, yeah, I know this guy just killed somebody, but like, you know, it was for me, I think we should get together. Like, what? And one more thing I noticed is that, like, why is everyone and everything so damn angsty in all these books? Like, what kind of a neighbor is threatening a kitten? Like, what kind of scenario is this? Okay, well, I decided to look more into the book, and it's called Alpha Ruined, and it's the second book in the Stalker Alphas series. And I guess the previous post makes sense because it's an enemies to lovers story about a serial killer hunting an unmated Omega. And despite being a murderer, I hardly know her. Going after an investigative journalist who catches murderers, they get together because he bought her a bunch of artisanal cheeses. I'm not even fucking joking. I'm not making that up. That's a plot point in the story. Like, is this some really perverse Wallace and Gromit alternate universe? What am I reading, man? Yeah, so you shot my neighbor, but man, I do love some mysteriously sourced cheese. I also love people who hit the subscribe button, am I right? She bakes some cookies, but he just laughs at her until she cries. Moments later, he listens in horror as she's hit by a car. I want to feel for her here, but I feel like there's a point where if it's that funny that he can't stop laughing until she cries, I want to know what he's laughing at. What's so funny about these cookies? These had to have been some funny ass cookies for him to laugh until she gets hit by a car. But also, it says moments later, so moments later? I feel like this is such bad word choice. It's like, did a car just plow into their kitchen? Or he's just laughing, she's crying, she just sprints outside and gets obliterated as soon as she touches the street? Like, what do you mean moments later? And I really feel like these authors just need proofreaders. Like, do you not imagine these scenarios when you're writing them? Anyways, let's check this book out called Knotted by the Pack, which is book 6 in this series. It took them 6 books to actually do anything. Boring! Anyways, let's read the synopsis. When an Omega gets kidnapped by vampires, I run a cute little shop for Omegas instead of looking for an alpha pack to marry. And you know, this pisses me off actually. Shop for Omegas? It's been an entire year since I've covered this, and in the year of 2025, there is still Omegregation going on. I cannot believe this. And my only love is my childhood best friend, Leo. Spelled like L-I-O. I don't know why authors can't just use normal names ever. It always has to have some unique spelling. Look at these names. What the fuck? Like, seriously, what happened to just fucking Josh? I want to see more Joshes in book talk. So, in a year from now, when I make another video on this, I need to see more Josh protagonists, alright? Oh yeah, right, I forgot to mention, Leo is a professional nodder at the local heat clinic. Yo, I have a temporary life, and I'm using it to read these books. This is crazy. So he's off limits for me. Until all that changes one fateful night, when an ancient creature kidnaps me when I don't have my heat suppressants. I go into heat, and the only place I can go for help is the heat clinic on the island where Leo works at. Then I'm slapped with a shocking surprise 2 weeks later. And yeah, the author decided to spoil the book in the synopsis by saying it has a happy ending. Thanks, man. Now I don't want to read it. I mean, I didn't want to in the first place, but, you know, now I less want to read it. But yeah, let's look at some more of Layla Sparks' work. Well, she's worked at a library alone for years and years after her last pack left her in the rain. Can you help me find a book, please? She freezes when she sees a new pack leader in her library. I love how she specifies that they left her out in the rain like she's a fucking dog or something. Actually, no, that's kind of fitting if you think about it. But like, it's just so needlessly dramatic. Like, guys, I'm getting really sick of this Omega. We could just break up with her like a normal person. Or, you know, vote her out. I don't really know how polyamorous people work. But yeah, we gotta get rid of her somehow. Well, you know, we could just dump her in the middle of nowhere. No! That's wrong. She loves us, you know? We have to have more respect for her than that. So we have to wait until it conveniently starts raining to give her an angsty backstory. Come on, man, we're plot devices. Like, Bookstagram logic is just so hilarious to me. Like, imagine if real life operated like these books. Would that actually be preferable to the logic that other people within the Bookstagram sphere operate on? So one of the biggest problems within Bookstagram is that one of the most popular genres is dark romance. Anything taboo you can imagine, whether it be sexual, violent, usually both, or outright immoral, these authors will write it, and for some reason it's fine because it's just books or something. Like, I'm serious. Every single popular Bookstagram book is about a young, small woman getting brutalized by a big old man. I'm not even joking, that is the most popular book trope. Tell me I'm wrong.
There is no reason that I should be getting this unhinged over a man who is stalking this poor, innocent, unassuming girl.
If you asked me to distill the essence of book talk into a video, it'd be that TikTok right there. But yeah, so I covered dark romance a ton in my first video, and I don't want to retread too much ground, but we gotta look at a few. Oh boy, that's totally healthy to read. Let's check out the trigger warning list of this book. Okay, it's 2 pages long, and I can't put almost any of it on YouTube, but check this out. Erotophonophilia, which means gratification through killing. Okay, off to a strong start. Execution, dismemberment, improper use of extension cables, and holy water? What? And look, I can excuse all of that, actually. All of it! On my roommate, I can excuse all of that. But I cannot excuse doxing or bullying. That is way too far. This book is disgusting. In all seriousness, no, isn't this supposed to be like a romance or something? Or is this a Cars 2 type situation where like the first book is a romance and then you get to the second book and suddenly it's just a fucking spy movie or something? Oh yeah, and the book dedication says, to all the girls who ever wanted to be the hot serial killer's last meal. And yeah, maybe I'm wrong, but I've always found that sort of fixation to be kind of really disrespectful to the actual victims of serial killers. Like, hey, person who died from a serial killer, I find what happened to you hot. Like, isn't that a little ridiculous? And then look at this one. To all the girlies who like to clutch at pearls, this isn't for you. Guys, is it pearl clutching to find books that romanticize cannibalism weird? And I'm doing them a bit of a disservice because I can only show a limited amount on YouTube, so keep this in mind as we move forward. I'm only showing the tame stuff. Every single taboo, violent, or immoral fantasy you can imagine is included in these books. And you know, that actually wouldn't be all that crazy in the context of normal fiction. The problem with dark romance is that the purpose of it is specifically to romanticize all these things, and that's why I have an issue with these books. And for some reason, no one ever questions whether it's like healthy to consume this stuff because it's just books. Think about the trigger warning list of the last book. Imagine watching like an animated version of that. That'd rightfully be considered pretty fucking weird, but it's not when it's a book for some reason. Like what? Why do we just overlook that? But yeah, I think you get the gist of dark romance authors now. So let's talk about some of the damage that I think Bookstagram is doing to the publishing industry. I'm not targeting anyone in specific. I just think these trends are harmful in the aggregate. Oh no, he's coming back! He's coming back! What's good again? It's Sergeant Smut. Time to talk about the Omegaverse again. I compared published Omegaverse to white people dreads. So why does the fanfiction community kind of hate this stuff? As I mentioned earlier, the whole point of the Omegaverse is to explore the idea of men getting pregnant and secondary genders within gay relationships. So when all these authors make straight fiction of it, it's seen as like co-opting it a little bit. Because it's like, okay, you took these stereotypically dominant and submissive gender roles already, and then just made them wolves for like no reason. I feel like they're kind of missing the point. That's why a lot of the books I've shown tend to get exasperated reactions in the comment section. It's actually really strange seeing straight Omegaverse. Anyways, one more question you might have is, well, Royal, if the point of Omegaverse is to get men pregnant, why wouldn't they just write stories like that and not include all the wolf stuff? And the reason for that is because this originated from like fanfic prompts on older fanfic websites and specifically from the supernatural fandom. So they included a bunch of like wolf stuff along with mpreg. They eventually formed into this one like unified canon as time goes on and people realize they like seeing these tropes together. Like that's another question I had while researching this, so hope I answered something for you. Anyways, back to the shitty authors of Bookstagram and the damage I think they're doing to the publishing industry. Well, first of all, as I mentioned last video, these books tend to be extremely copy-paste. It was a problem a year ago, but it's even worse now. Every single Bookstagram author we've already looked at writes the exact same tropes over and over. They literally identify themselves as authors by the smut tropes they chose. Rosemary A. Johns, the first author, writes a bunch of group romance hockey Omegaverse novels, and names them all with the exact same naming framework. Name and her nouns. And she's been doing this for a literal year. I criticized for this a year ago, and that's still her shtick. Layla Sparks is basically Rosemary A. Johns, the sequel. You know, Rosemary was the GOAT. She's like the Michael Jordan of Omegaverse. Layla Sparks is LeBron, okay? LeBeta James, I guess. And she does a similar thing where she writes like entire series of books, but each series are just a bunch of standalone books with the exact same smut tropes. And kind of the same story. And I just find this ridiculous. It's genuinely a common and accepted strategy within publishing now to just pick a bunch of smut tropes that you want to write the most bare-bones story ever to facilitate those scenes, and then spam out as many of these books as humanly possible. And then advertise them by posting graphic excerpts of them on Instagram. Why am I getting smut on my For You page? That's probably me problem. Again, you can tell these stories aren't important to the authors because they literally spoil them in the blurb. It's like, oh, guaranteed spice, enemies to lovers, happy ending. Well, I basically know the fucking book now, don't I? And to me, that really suggests that publishing is becoming increasingly fanficified. It's like, okay, this book is X, Y, and Z trope, and it ends in this way, and it's entirely meant for pleasure. That is literally how erotic fanfiction websites categorize their content, not that I would know. And I kind of hate how actual books are becoming like this. And like, I don't know, it just kind of pisses me off that that's what reading is to a lot of people nowadays. It's just a way to get smut. And like, I hate to sound like a boomer, but I miss when people saw reading as something like actually intellectual. And again, I'm not trying to be like the I'm 14 and this is deep type of guy, but like, seriously, like, book is synonymous with smut on BookTok. I'm dead serious. They literally say book boyfriend as a way to like be like, oh yeah, this guy matches my smut fantasies. And I don't know, I feel like I can't be the only one who's kind of pissed off that like reading as a whole is being turned into like just diabolical fanfiction that fosters addiction. But yeah, speaking of addiction though, let's now talk about the BookTok Girlies. BookTok Girlies is a name that the denizens of BookTok gave themselves. They are the people consuming all the books you just witnessed, and the authors themselves tend to be BookTok girlies who got into writing, if you can call it that. So although many of them are completely normal, I'd say most actually, and have like a decent relationship with the books they read, there is a very large minority of this community that has massive problems with their consumption of this content and the way they treat people online. Anybody who fits the genre of men that BookTok women find attractive, they're getting harassed in the comments.
If someone comes on this app and their first video is to essentially tell you that they have always been hiding the fact that they are an avid fantasy reader, and your response is to leave thirst comments in their comment section, that's weird, isn't it? That's really weird. Oh, but that doesn't apply, does it? Because you think he's hot. I can't believe I'm having to make a second stop being weird video this week.
To the point that multiple hockey players have had to come out and be like, yo, I know I matched the guy from Icebreaker, but stop harassing me in my comments, you know, I'm married. Like, this actually happens very frequently. Like, anyone who matches BookTok's gaze just gets flooded with inappropriate comments. So for example, I talked a lot about COD cosplayers in my Thirst Trap video, not that COD, and someone said they used to be one until they just got harassed constantly by a bunch of BookTok people trying to know more about them. They got a parasocial relationship, they think they know them better than they do, they're in their DMs trying to shoot their shot constantly, and it's just like BookTokers and Bookstagrammers will not treat cosplayers as actual people. It's just like an object of their fantasies. It's ridiculous. And that's really the notable thing that bothers me about this community. It's such a giant, massively inappropriate echo chamber of bad behavior that gets exacerbated by their groupthink. Like the time they harassed a black creator for criticizing a romance themed around the Klan. Yeah, the clan you're thinking of. Like, yeah, and that's what I mean when I say that BookTok has this absolutely horrid groupthink. Fed nothing but hate, violence, and intolerance from the day he was born, Tanner kills for his cause without remorse, until he meets Adelita Quintana, the daughter of the most brutal cartel boss in Mexico. So quite literally, this book is a romance that is whitewashing clan members and cartel bosses. What the is wrong with BookTok? And don't get me wrong, most BookTok readers absolutely condemned this, but there's still a sizable portion that defends it. And by the way, when it says that he kills for his cause, it means what you think it does. This is irredeemable. I can't believe this author's real. Genuinely, I might hate read this book and make a video about it. Stay tuned. Oh, but dude, it's just fiction though. It's just not real. Yeah, you're playing defense for the clan right now by promoting the idea that you could reform these people just by loving them enough. And they're all just misguided little guys who do racist things because they were brainwashed into it. And to the author, you know what you're doing when you describe him as a white prince. Anyone who's not in the BookTok cult would find this reprehensible, but for some reason, it gets defended on there quite often. But yeah, why are they like this? I think the main issue is because no one really wants to talk about the fact that they have a problem. And I covered this a lot in my first video, but I'll summarize it here. So, smut is porn, and being addicted to it has the same effects. Psychologically addicted, not like substance addicted, you know what I mean? But yeah, so books are a little better ethically than like video, because no one actually has to film it. But for the user, the effects are relatively similar. First of all, it causes unrealistic expectations within the reader. Every single love interest in BookTok books, they're all 6'7". I'm not even making a dumb brain rot joke there. Like, that is the most common height for BookTok guys. And then every girl in these books is freshly 18 and 4'10". And as you could probably tell based on the scenarios that these authors write, the kinks displayed within these books are often extremely violent or taboo, and the entire book is just violence against women. But seriously, I see a lot of signs of addiction here. A lot of Bookstagram users only admit they got into these dark romance books after a long time of reading smut and the old stuff didn't do it anymore. That reminds you of something, doesn't it, right? That reminds you of something? Watching more extreme stuff over time after getting desensitized? And to top it all off, they regularly admit that they'll read this stuff in public or at work or something, or they're at work just like, man, I wish I was reading smut right now. Reminds you of something, doesn't it? Oh no, but I'm definitely taking this way too seriously. It's just books, guys. You're just a stupid little asshole. Wait, I'm getting a call. They found a 16-year-old biker and started recommending him dark romance. Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm not exaggerating, that happened. And look, I hate to be that guy. Normally I never resort to this argument because I feel like it's normally not applicable, but flip the roles around. Hear me out, hear me out. Imagine a bunch of 40-year-old men in a 16-year-old girl's comment section telling her to read Woman Obliterator 3. You see how concerning that actually is? Come on. But no, it's fine because we're talking about books and not visual material, and we're not talking about men here. It's all fine. There's no problem. There is no smut addiction in Ba Sing Se. And you know, I think the average person is actually aware of how bad this all is. It's just the BookTok Girlies sphere itself is an impenetrable echo chamber that does not see a problem with any of this. And I claimed all this a year ago, and people thought I was exaggerating, you know? It's all just inconsequential internet shit. It's no big deal. But they were wrong. So there have been multiple dark romance conventions since then, and genuine crimes have been reported on every single one of them. So at a lot of them, they had male actors portraying their favorite BookTok characters. And groups of BookTok women would go around and constantly overstep boundaries, asking them extremely uncomfortable questions like, oh, what would you do if you kidnapped me, despite them clearly not wanting to be asked that, or they would outright get physical. There were groups of women doing this, and no one said anything until after the convention. And again, I'm not trying to paint BookTok with a broad brush, but I find it so telling that you get a group of them in a room and genuine crimes happen. And it's like, there are groups of Bookstagrammers here, all committing crimes, and not one of them said anything. But no, Royal, it's all just inconsequential internet. My addiction is fine, right? Oh yeah, and one performer even had an air tag placed on him. Totally normal though, totally inconsequential, right? No correlation? And to clarify, most BookTok users are fine, and a lot of the more sane people in the book sphere have stepped away from that label, so it's kind of created a worse echo chamber. And ultimately, it is a personal moral issue whether or not you actually go out and commit crimes or overstep boundaries. And most dark romance readers don't do that. My point is that BookTok and Bookstagram have still created this insane echo chamber that encourages this behavior still, because no one's calling it out or being honest that they have addictions. And that's really the major issue. I'm not trying to do a 1984 here. I'm not trying to be like, hey, don't read this or don't write this. Okay, I mean, I kinda am at some points, but it's more just like, when I look at this sort of content, and then I look at the behavior of Bookstagram out in the real world, I'm like, yeah, I really think this does have some sort of negative effect. You thought this was going to be a short voiceover again. Nope. But yeah, now that we've covered the Bookstagram girlies, surely you're thinking, wow, this is an insane community. Surely there isn't an army of dudes out there trying to pander to them, right? No, dudes will do anything for attention. Let's check it out.
Can I get a growl from you, please? Oh, that was really good. That's good. Oh. Sorry? I like that one. Of course we're gonna do that.
And in a book, when it says someone growled something, it means you said it kind of like gruffly, shortly, and aggressively. Not going full Pop Smoke mode. In normal literature, that's what growl refers to, but in BookTok literature, actual dudes growl for some reason. Like, what? And I find this whole, like, growling attraction a little cringe. Like, it's not hurting anybody, but I don't know, I still find it worth mentioning. And I feel like I feel that way because it's such a manufactured thing. Like, it feels like the result of a really long game of fanfiction and BookTok telephone. It was only included in these books because people kept trying to one-up each other on, like, the animalisticness of their protagonists. So it's already kind of a result of an echo chamber. And then on top of that, nobody's, like, normally attracted to growling, I think. Like, it's another result of just reading this insane chronically online literature. I mean, then again, arguably all, like, fascinations are socially manufactured, but I don't know, this one feels especially so. And then seeing actual people lean into this bizarre subculture is just hilarious to me. No actual hate to these guys, it's mostly just me finding it funny. It's like an observer looking in. They're not really hurting anybody. I still do love watching these videos and just imagining the, like, all the steps that led up to their creation. And dude, this dude's entire thing is that he just reads random BookTok quotes in this super growly, deep voice. It's so funny to me, dude.
Do not speak to her as if death is a possibility.
It's like, dude, he's gotten so much notoriety in the BookTok sphere that they asked him to do the roar.
Can you do the growl?
Like, that's so funny. And again, I don't mind him and his fangirls that much. One thing I appreciate is that he may be acting out various characters in a way that I find pretty cringe. It's not dark romance though. And I mentioned this a bit last video. Maybe this is a double standard, but I find it really weird when dudes are into dark romance. If a woman loves Woman Obliterator 3, that's one thing. But if a man loves it, I'm kind of looking at you sideways. Like, why do you like Violence Against Women, the novel? Answer that, buddy. I'll give one guy a pass though. Moist Critical. I don't know why he's reading Haunting Adeline, who told him to do this, but I don't know, this picture is really funny to me. But while I may think that dudes reading dark romance is weird, clearly a lot of Bookstagram guys don't share the same sentiment, such as this guy doing a literal dark romance spread. Like, you know, man, I get why you wouldn't want to show your face in this video. But yeah, like I've been implying, the average Bookstagram thirst trapper, just like the average Bookstagram user, is just like mildly cringe to me at most and not really problematic. Really, the only ones I have an issue with are the ones just role-playing massively insane taboos out here. It's like, look, I get your audience likes it, and it's not real, but like, man, it's just such a red flag when dudes are leaning into this so much. Wow, someone should make a video about that. No, someone should make 3 videos about that. Anyways though, on to something a little less serious. So the most common type of Bookstagram thirst trapper are the masked men thirst trappers, who I just find to be utterly hilarious, because they usually try to mimic COD characters, where they end up just looking like the target audience for Rick and Morty bongs and gas station knives. Like, how the hell are you doing that, man? Also, I'm absolutely loving the fake eyebrow slit on this guy. Can't have the public knowing he's Bookman. But yeah, anyways, apparently this is a cosplay of Zaid Meadows, notorious abuser from Haunting Adeline. Us guys are really putting our best foot forward in this community. But yeah, I don't know, maybe you think I'm overreacting. Maybe you think it's not a big deal. So I guess this is a good time to kind of like talk about some of the misconceptions people might have and some of the comments I got from last video, and to really just clarify my stance a little more. And okay, sorry for the random scene change, and sorry if I look a little disheveled. I'm recording this at a different time. Yeah, dude, I've been editing for like 8 hours today, and it just saps my life energy, dude. Like, watching dark romance TikToks is like You ever seen that one Pokemon episode where Litwick is just slowly draining the life force out of Team Rocket and Ash? That's what editing this video feels like. It's like a cognito hazard. A few things I want to address from the comment section of my last video. Now, don't go harass any of these people. It's simply for education's sake, and I even deleted some of the old comments, so it's not even possible. Anyways, the first thing I want to address is that I'm not trying to be super puritanical or pearl clutchy here, like that one book intro suggested. My issue with this content is not that it's being written or read necessarily, it's more so the secondary effects of that. I've always seen romanticizing this sort of thing to be a little insensitive to the people who actually went through it. However, I also understand the viewpoint that this is a controlled environment similar to roleplay where it's like, yeah, nobody's actually getting hurt or nothing problematic is happening. So maybe it's not a big deal, but that's just my perspective on it. And I also understand that a lot of victims read this sort of thing to cope with it in a controlled environment, so there's that too. But the second issue I have with these books though is that it seems to be stoking on the really bad behavior of Bookstagram online. So many of them are just completely goon-brained and have no boundaries at all, and I really feel like this sort of like smut and dark romance addiction is really stoking that on. Now, it's ultimately a personal issue whether or not you actually go commit crimes, but I still feel like it's kind of contributing to that echo chamber mindset, and a conversation needs to be had whether you can consume this stuff healthily. There's a lot of people who seem to be doing fine in these communities, but like, I don't know. Again, the fact that you can get a bunch of Bookstagrammers in one room and a bunch of crimes and no accountability happens, I think says a lot about the problems within this community and the things that they read. Another thing I want to address is that some people suggested the idea that like fiction is valuable because it's disturbing, and a few of them even used a quote that like, art should disturb the comfortable and comfort the disturbed, which I find pretty silly, because when it says that, it means that you are disturbing the comfortable by pointing out the atrocities that happen in the real world that the comfortable either don't know about or even have a hand in through apathy. And when it says comfort the disturbed, it means that you're giving them catharsis through said story. It doesn't just mean write the most shocking step-family omegaverse violent group romance you can, and that is valuable just because it's shocking to the average person. No, you're completely co-opting the quote at that point. I don't think that's what it means. Anyways, the last thing I wanted to address in the comment section is that a lot of people said that I moved like young Sheldon and looked like Roderick in that first video. So if you want to verify that, you should go watch that one. Anyways, that's all I got. Later.